Welcome to episode 8.33 of the Grumpy Brothers podcast. I am Chris Ludvigsen, joined by Ted. Say hey, Ted.
Hey, Ted.
Thank you to our listeners. Please subscribe and listen on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or Odyssey. Also, please follow us here on millions.co. Ted, I'm trying to get myself properly situated in frame as I always do at the beginning. There's my glowing, lovely face in perfect frame.
Don't move.
Yes,
Don't move.
You know, all of our tens of guests of listeners and viewers have to see my smiling face each week.
That's true. That's true.
Today, Ted, we continue with our NFL easy for me to say. We continue with our NFL season preview with the AFC and NFC South Divisions, or as I like to refer to them, the JV of the NFL.
Yeah.
I've got a couple good teams in there, but anyway. Before we get to those divisions, Ted, what's making you grumpy today?
Okay, so as you know, I came home yesterday from Richmond area.
Yes.
So I don't know if this is a thing for you, but it's definitely a thing for me, and it's probably something I should work on. But I'm 66, so
working on things don't yeah.
I'm driving. I'm taking your shortcut. So I didn't want to deal with 95 on a holiday or on a weekend.
Okay.
In the summertime. And I don't know if this bothers you or this happens to you, you get on, these one lane or one way, 2-lane road, right? One way each way.
Yeah.
And you go along and all of a sudden you get in the sweet spot of the traffic in front of you is way ahead.
And
you can go, say 60 or whatever, whatever you feel comfortable with. And there's nobody in your rear view. And you go along for a while and you take a look up and you see somebody in your rear view and you're like, what does he want? What's he doing? What's this idiot about to do? It's going to tick me off. And he's a mile away. He's a mile and a half away. He's driving. He's
minding his own business. He doesn't know who you are.
Right. And he has no idea how bad he's made me by having the
nerve to drive his car at the same time that you are.
As the unmitigated gall to pull out behind me in a way that I can see him, 2 miles in the rear view. I'm like, and so let's say he pulls off, right? And you go, oh, okay, great, yeah. And then somebody else pulls up. Oh, what's this idiot want now?
I just got rid of that schmuck. Who's this guy?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Who does this guy think he is?
Mr. Hotshot has to be out driving around on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, what has he got? What is he doing out here? Yeah, stay in bed like everybody else.
We're gonna put the bad alert out. Ted's on the road. Everybody clear. Everybody clear.
And then when I get home, I go into the mailbox.
Yeah.
And there's a summons for jury.
Your Saturday was going along so well.
Yeah,
so
right.
Well.
I got rid of everybody off. Once you get on the main roads, there's nothing you can do about it. But I got rid of everybody on the back roads. And then all of a sudden, jury duty. And like, oh, no. Oh, my. Well, hopefully it's one of those, things where you just call every day and nothing happens. So, yeah. But it's a week you kind of have to set aside, right?
2 things that you said in there caught my ear that I wanted to elaborate on.
Yeah.
When I was driving to Ohio last week for the Hall of Fame weekend,
right?
I was on 64, and I don't know if you know this stretch, but you go down 81 south for a while, and then you get on 64 east, and it's 81 and 64 at the same time. But anyway, we're going out that way to get the 77 north to go up to Ohio. Anyway, not much traffic. But at one point, they were doing some construction, so it goes from 2 lanes to 1 lane. And I'm doing, when you're in the construction lane, you slow down just a little bit, right?
In Maryland, you have to. They made it a law. Yeah.
So I'm doing, I can't remember if the speed limit is 60. I think I had my cruise control set right on 60.
Right.
Good law-abiding citizen. And to your point, I look behind me, and this guy's not a mile behind me. He's like an inch behind me.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Now, so that
Now
gets you.
That's a real thing.
Yes.
not my imagined guy.
And Ted, is it just me, or every time as that happened, is it a big black truck with like tinted out windows?
Yeah. That's
right?
a lot of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're in a hurry.
Right. So I'm driving, and I'm looking, and who is this idiot? Thinks he's hot stuff with his black tinted windows and big black truck.
Yeah.
So finally the construction ends and it goes from one lane back to two. And so I get in the right lane almost immediately, let him pass.
Right.
You know who it is, Ted? A Virginia State trooper riding on my ass. I felt like, the executive producer says to me, well, at least he didn't give you a ticket for, whatever, if you were going a little bit too fast or whatever. And I said, I was going to pull him over and give him a citizen's arrest.
Good luck with that. Yeah. I can't help you. Yeah.
But Ted, the other thing that you said on there, when you said, trying to improve yourself.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies for about the first 80% of it is $1 Million Baby.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Because I don't like the end when she's...
Yeah, right.
That's just so depressing.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite scenes in the movie is Clint Eastwood walks into his office and Morgan Freeman is sitting at his desk with his feet propped up on his...
Right.
And he talks about his holy socks.
Right, the socks, yeah.
Oh, I love that scene. But another one is Clinton has just watched his former boxer win the title on TV.
Right.
And he walks into Morgan Freeman's little bedroom there in the gym.
Right.
And he says, do you want a hamburger? I bought it and I don't want to eat it. And they keep on talking and Morgan Freeman says, I can see you working on yourself. That's good.
Well, yeah.
I'm bringing him a leftover cheeseburger.
Yeah, well, it's a start.
Morgan Freeman in that movie, when he does that bit about his socks, oh my gosh, it just makes me, every time I know it's coming, it makes me giggle every time when I see it. My other socks, my daytime socks have too many holes in them.
Right, yeah.
No, my sleeping socks have too many holes in them.
Yeah,
my feet like to air out at night.
Well, there's something to be said for that.
Oh. So anyway, Ted, here are my grumps. I almost forgot my grump for this week. So yesterday I was coming out of errands. I was running some errands yesterday and I came out of Lowe's, picking up some stuff at Lowe's for the yard work here at Del Boca Vista.
Okay.
Ted, they actually make me do a little yard work here at Del Boca Vista North.
I don't know about that deal.
So anyway, no, the executive producer, I used to always buy Roundup for clean it. And the executive producer convinced me that stuff is so bad for you, don't buy that anymore. So I now go to Lowe's and buy this environmentally, the stuff that put the huge stain on my driveway.
Yeah,
anyway, so I'm buying some more of that. Anyway, I'm coming
Did that ever go away?
Oh, no, it's still there in full form.
I didn't notice it. I just didn't notice it. Yeah. Okay, nice.
So I'm coming out of Lowe's and I see a table set up with, I think they were Eagle Scouts.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, doing a charity situation. Now, they didn't want to get in a turf war with the Girl Scouts, so it wasn't cookies. Because if you get the Girl Scouts upset at you, they'll send Nunzio after you if you take away if you go through their turf.
Nobody wants Eagle Scout cookies. Come on.
So anyway, they were selling different types of nuts and snack mix and those types of things.
Okay.
So I'm standing there and 2 or 3 things on the list actually look pretty interesting to me. And I'm looking at there and Johnny Salesman over there and his Eagle Scout information says, take your time, sir. Well, yeah, no effing way I'm going to take my time. What are you going to push me aside for someone who's going to spend more than me? Anyway, so...
car dealer in the making.
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, I sell for a living, buddy. I think I can give you a few tips. That's not the thing to say to somebody. Anyway, what did the executive producer said? Maybe not so well. And she is the best salesman in the family. But anyway, I've gotten way off track. Anyway, so I finally decide I'm going to buy myself a can of trail mix.
Okay. And
by this point, the father comes up with the price list. I said, how much for the can of the trail mix? Take a shot, Ted. Can, about this big.
15.
$26, Ted, he hits me up for.
Wow.
Now, I don't want to be the guy that goes, $26 is too much for me to donate to a good cause. So I swallowed my pride and pried out my wallet and gave him $26. But I'm thinking the whole time, really, $26 for a can of trail
What are they
mix?
supposed to? What are they doing with the money?
Good cause, Ted. It's a good cause. I don't know.
It's a good cause that you don't know.
To buy each one a tent, I don't know.
Skimming $10 off the top and
take it out to everybody at the Vegas. They're gonna lay it all down on red.
They're going through the woods and picking up nuts for free and then selling it to you for $26.
Actually, I opened the can up last night.
They have a little squirrel farm out there. They're going out collecting them and bringing them back.
I opened up the can last night, Ted. Pretty good. Okay. Nice little mixture of salted peanuts and
$26 worth of pretty good.
It makes my heart feel good, Ted.
Okay.
$26.
When you go by Lowe's, you're gonna be walking right by that stand next time.
I felt like saying, what is it, a little gold flakes in here as part of the trail mix? You kidding me? $26 for trail mix. All right, here we go, Ted.
Well,
you ready?
You live in an affluent area.
Yes, we do. They were tracking me all the way from. They had one of those flock cameras on me, Ted. They saw me pulling out the book of us and says, "We're gonna get that guy."
Well, see, the thing is, you went into Lowe's and you probably had this shirt, it's a similar shirt to what you have on now, and they're like, "Well." And he's coming out with environmentally friendly. Quick, get the rich guy board out.
The price is normally $15. Get the rich schmuck price out. $26.
Normally $6.
And the Eagle Scouts, in the father, they're each, pocketing a $2 commission each off of me.
Well, and that's what their actual, because the Eagle Scouts have to have a project. Their project is building the rich guy.
He's getting his Johnny Salesman badge.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Ted, here we go. Okay. Another somewhat Hall of Fame weekend trivia question this week, Ted.
Okay.
One of the teams we're going to discuss is the New Orleans Saints, and of course, Drew Brees went into the Hall of Fame last week. Ted, Drew Brees is number 2 in NFL history in passing yards at 80,358 yards, and second in touchdowns with 571, behind only
Tommy.
Okay, Ted, here's the question. What player has the most career receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns in Saints franchise history?
What was they had that one guy that was pretty good for a while. What was his name?
The guy that was really good for a while.
Yeah, he was pretty good for a while.
He did catch a lot of passes. He did catch a lot of passes from Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Big guy.
I'm drawing a blank because all I can think of about Saints receivers at this particular moment is Danny Abramowitz. And he wasn't catching a ton from Billy Kilmer or Archie Manning.
Hold on, Ted. I gotta get it.
Yeah.
Danny Abramowitz is not
not on the list. Huh?
God bless you. What number did he wear?
46, I think.
46. I thought it was 46.
It was either 46 or 21. One or the other.
Did he come up as because back in those days you wore 80s if you were a wide receiver? I think it was.
Yeah, he came up as. Yeah, I think he came up with probably as a running back or something.
Yeah, that or maybe a defensive back.
Yeah, something like maybe. And I think he was the holder when Dempsey kicked at 63. I think he was.
Really?
I think he held the ball on kicks. I think
that. Yeah. So you come up with Danny Abramowitz, but you can't come up with Marcus Colston.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well,
You remember him, big guy? He played at which school did he play at? I'm trying to remember now. He was.
Oh, sure. It's not so easy now.
I want to say it was Towson State.
Towson. It's not state anymore.
Is it not state anymore?
No, it's just it's University of Towson.
No, is it that
Towson? Towson University.
Schools. It's one of those schools.
Villanova or something.
Mark. Now I'm thinking about it. I was thinking about this earlier. Where did Marcus Colston go to college? Oh, Hofstra.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Hofstra.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
How did a guy like that get into I mean, in terms of how did they let him slide? One of the big schools not pick up a guy like him.
I don't think he was particularly fast, Ted.
Yeah, but still.
And that, Ted, this is the other thing that I remembered about him. Drafted in the 7th round, number 252 overall. He must not have been able to run, but he got open.
Yeah.
I just remember him every time they had 3rd and 5, he'd run a little curl route and he'd find an open spot and somehow
it just doesn't
hit him for 7.
That doesn't make, I mean, I guess sometimes when these guys, they just look at measurables or whatever, and,
can they actually play the game? I heard Colin Coward was interviewing Hasselbeck the other day about and one of the things they talked about was the Hall of Fame game. And the Carolina Panthers have a 3rd-string quarterback, Haynes King, who played at Georgia Tech, quarterback.
Right.
And Hasselbeck said something like, the scouts say his arm strength isn't very good and he can't fit it in and he doesn't throw a good spiral. He said, but I love this term. He said, he's just an 11-on-11 football player.
Well,
I like that.
Okay. Yeah. But okay.
But at some point you got to be able to throw the 20-yard out.
Right.
In the NFL, I mean, it's from hash line on one side to the other side of the field.
I mean, he might be able to stick around as a backup or a 3rd-string guy for a number of years, but I mean, there's a reason. I mean, I understand measurables, but if you're talking about a guy, Colston 6'2", 6'3", something like that, and playing at Hofstra, I mean, how does like Maryland, look at him and go, no, we're not interested in a big wide receiver who just catches 7 or 8 yard passes and moves us down the field. We're not interested in matriculating the ball down the field in that fashion. We're interested in getting stuck and matriculating the ball backwards. So the punter has to kick from his own end zone.
Ted getting a little juggernaut stuff off his backside. Ted Colston played 10 seasons from 2006 to 2015, played 146 games, caught 711 passes for 9,759 yards and 72 touchdowns. A couple of other interesting things about Saints receivers, Ted. Number 2 on the reception list is current running back Alvin Kamara. 606 catches.
Yeah, he played long enough with Breeze, right? And they're dinking and dunking it at the end of Breeze's career when he couldn't throw it down the field.
And he threw a lot of little screen passes. And Ted, you talked last week about getting the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs in space. You get the ball to Alvin Kamara in space and at the highlight of his career, and he was a tough guy to get down. Big and very balanced runner. Ted, I don't remember this guy. Number 2 is Eric Martin.
I remember the name. Yeah, I remember. But when did he play? Does it say?
I forgot to look at it.
Yeah. I bet you he played like
before the Breeze era.
Yeah, like during the Bobby Hebert time.
Yeah,
or maybe even between that.
Number 3 on the list is Joe Horn with 7,000.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. Joe Horn.
The other interesting name on this list, Ted, number 2 in TD receptions is the big tight end Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
Good player.
That makes sense. Yeah.
All right, Ted, let's go to the AFC
and
South.
Danny Abramowitz, nowhere to be found, huh?
Danny Abramowitz, no.
No, I was telling you, remember I told you about that YouTube site the other day?
Yeah.
And they were showing, because they,
right. Old clips, football.
The clips, and they show these clips, and there's one, and my wife says, "Is that Billy Kilmer?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's Billy Kilmer. He's in the Saints uniform, and he's getting absolutely crushed with his single bar face mask, and he's letting it go, and it's going, like a punt, just sort of waving. Not even a good punt. It's just sort of end over end, about 7 yards forward, and some guy intercepts it. Starts going.
What I remember about Billy Kilmer, not only the single face bar. But before they mandated chin straps, he wouldn't wear a chin strap either.
No, I don't need any of that.
And I remember when he played on the Redskins, I don't know who had the bigger beer belly, him or Jurgensen.
I think Sonny did, especially after the Achilles injury. There was no more running for Sonny.
No more cardio for Sonny.
No.
Oh gosh, golly, I remember those teams. All right, Charlie Hathaway,
There you go.
fullback. Dad's favorite player, Paul Lavick, number
Yeah.
73.
Yeah.
Ted, let's go to the AFC South and the Jacksonville Jaguars, which were one of the surprise teams. Not so much, I think, from a couple years before they had made the playoffs and won a game. So I don't think it was surprising that they contended, but it was surprising that they won the AFC South, Ted. And I had forgotten they finished the season 13-4 last year.
Yeah, they kind of got on a run late, and
exactly. And it's interesting to me that they got on that run after supposed two-way superstar franchise-saving Travis Hunter went out with an injury.
Right.
They were 4-3 in his 7 games and 9-1 without him. I don't know if the two are correlated, but it's an interesting stat. Ted, it's interesting also to me that they do it behind first-year head coach Liam Cohen, who comes over from being the offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay. And we're going to talk about Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Mayfield took a big step back last year.
Right.
And Trevor Lawrence, the hair god, he made a nice step forward last year. Ted, he was 6th in passing yards and 5th in touchdowns.
Probably got sacked fewer times too, because that seemed to be after they made the playoffs that one year when Peterson was the coach, when his first year. Then it seemed like their offensive line either kept breaking down or, by injury, or they lost guys or whatever it was, because then after that, Lawrence seemed to be routinely, being chased around and hit quite a bit. And I thought he had better protection last year. Maybe he was just more patient in the pocket. Who knows? I mean, I don't see a lot of Jackson McWilliams.
The other thing that I'll say about that is that, and I can't remember, again, I think it might have been Hasselbeck, and he must have been talking about one of the coaches off the McVay coaching tree. And I can't remember which quarterback he was talking about, but maybe it relates here to Trevor Lawrence also with the sacks and his improved performance. Hasselbeck said that one of the things that certain offensive coordinators and play schemers do is they set up their passing routes in such a way that the primary read is very easy and very quickly to determine if it's going to be open or not.
Yeah.
And
okay.
In the current NFL, I mean, you can hold it, but I mean, you got a lot of good pass rushers in the NFL.
Yeah.
You got to get it out quick. And so if you can make a quick, if through the play scheme, if you can very more quickly determine that guy's going to be open or he's not, it probably leads to more efficient quarterback play and less sacks.
Yeah, I mean, it's particularly the way they blitz from all angles now. If you have a quarterback that understands what the defense is trying to do when they line up, and he might be say, okay, yeah, that one's going to be there, or no, they're not. This is going to be doubled or whatever. Their guys right in the way.
I love seeing little video clips, and it was once I saw my guy Aaron Rodgers, and he's at the line of scrimmage, and this guy like jockeying like he's going to come, and Rodgers yells out, "No, you're not coming." And so he these guys are so good at reading the great quarterbacks, Brady and Manning and Breeze, particularly those three. They knew where they were going with the ball before the ball was snapped.
Right. Yeah.
So I think and you talk about measurables. Jeff George could throw it through the roof.
Right.
But I don't know that he knew where he didn't know where to throw it.
Yeah, right. Or he had predetermined in his mind by calling the play. He didn't really care how they were lined up because he thought he could throw it through people,
right? And fit it in a little thimble hole.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Ted, the Jaguars did not have a first-round pick because of the Hunter trade from the year before. But I love their third-round pick, a guy named Emmanuel Pregnon, a guard from Oregon. I think that he's going to slot right in as a day one starter. I wanted the Packers to take him in the second round because, Ted, the one thing they did not do.
You weren't on the line? You didn't have a line into Green Bay?
No, Brian Gutekunst, wasn't taking my calls those days to tell me that they needed to take the guard from Oregon in the second round. But Ted, the one thing they did not do well offensively last year is they had the 23rd rated run game. So I think you improve the offensive line and you hopefully make that even better. They did lose two important pieces. Travis Etienne, the running back who played with Lawrence at Clemson.
Right.
And then the other one that I'm, certain positions have been downgraded in importance in the NFL these days, and one of them is the off-the-ball linebacker. But their former middle linebacker, Devin Lloyd, left.
Right.
You lose a 3-down guy who calls the defensive formations and audibles. That's a big loss.
Right.
I think they're going to come back a little bit, but I still think, I don't know. Let's talk about the second team, because the second team, I think, might be the best team in this division, which is the Texans. They finished 12-5 last year, losing to the playoffs because I think C.J. Stroud just threw another interception. If you watch close, there it is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, their defense was very good.
Ted, here are the numbers. Number 1 in total yards. Number 4 against the rush. Number 6 against the pass. Number 2 in scoring.
Yeah, that sounds like a defense that went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And particularly nowadays.
And, you still have C.J. Stroud on his rookie contract, so you can load up on a lot of good players. Like, for instance, they gave Willie Anderson, the very good young
right.
edge from Alabama, a huge contract, but they still have Danielle Hunter, formerly from the Vikings, on the other edge. So, I mean, they've got money to spend on a lot of different positions. I love their draft picks, Ted. Love them. Late in the first round, they take a guard from Georgia Tech, Keelan Rutledge. He's one of those, the guys on the McShay show refer to him as a glass eater, Ted. He's one of those guys. Okay. Can you picture him?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
A little dirty, a little on the edge of being dirty, but plays to the whistle, sometimes a little beyond. He's slotted in as their starting center. They had the 22nd rated run game last year. So you put, you improve the offensive line, and hopefully that makes CJ Stroud better. Ted, the second thing that I love that they did, I am 100% convinced that at number 37 or 38, wherever the Giants were picking, after they had traded Lawrence to the Bengals, there was a kid from Ohio State, Caden McDonald, big, athletic nose tackle, sitting there. The Texans trade in front of the Giants to take McDonald at 36. You put him on a defensive line with Hunter and Anderson on the edges. I don't know who you single block on that team.
Yeah, I mean, he's a rookie, so he probably gets it right out of the gate. But he really just has to sounds like he really just sort of has to sit there and just gum up the run game for everybody else. Yeah.
Yes. Put him in a lot of third and longs and let Hunter and Anderson go hunt the quarterback. Ted, another addition they made. We talked last week about the Eagles losing Reed Blankenship, the very heady, good hitting ball hawk safety. The Texans bring him in.
Right.
So they had a great defense, and then they add McDonald and Blankenship. They add Rutledge. They also bring in Wyatt Teller, a guard who been a very good guard in Cleveland. I really like this team.
Yeah, well, the question begins and ends with Stroud, right? I mean, he's got to play. He was a little down last year anyway, right? During the season, hopefully for them, he cratered in the playoffs, and then now he's going to get better or go back to what he looked like when he was a rookie.
Well, we talked about the fact that when we were talking about those playoff games last year, you were adamant that the Texans had to go to Davis Mills in that game against the Patriots halftime because
he was so bad.
Right. And they had won all of or most of their games last year. Let's see. Yeah. Ted, they were 3-0 with Davis Mills quarterbacking last year.
It's just that he was so bad. I mean, it's not the long-term solution. He was just so bad at that point, whether he was hurt or, he had been concussed, but still been able to play. I don't know what it was, but he was just so bad in the playoffs last year that you felt like they would have given themselves a much better chance had they gone to the bullpen.
It's interesting, Ted. In his rookie season, Stroud averaged almost 274 passing yards. In his second season, down to 219, and then last year down to 217. His passer rating He was almost at 101 last year, 93. So if he gets back to his rookie levels, completing 64% of his passes, let's see his TD, 23 to 5 TD to interception ratio.
That's good. Yeah.
101 rating. If he gets back to that level, this is a Super Bowl team.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, barring major injury, yeah, they would be. Now, my question would be, without doing a deep dive into the Texans, is during his rookie year, did they run the ball better? Because they went out and got the guy from Cincinnati, right? And then he doesn't play, and he doesn't
they let
play
him
'cause he's
go.
hurt.
They let
'Cause
him
he
go.
was hurt. Yeah, because he was hurt. Do they have a new center, and they brought in another guard? Are they going to try and emphasize running the ball to give Stroud the play action pieces, component of the game that maybe was missing in the last year? I don't know.
I again, Ted, I hope that that's the offensive strategy, because with that defense,
Right,
you don't need CJ Stroud to be John Elway, Terry Bradshaw, and Joe Montana wrapped together. You just need him to be a solid B-level quarterback, and you can win a Super Bowl with this team.
You need him to be Bob Greasy from the Dolphins. Throw it enough times to keep everybody honest and keep the ball in your own team's hands. Don't turn it over, don't fumble, don't throw interceptions. Yeah, I mean, just throw it enough for everybody to, but you have to be able to. I mean, the first part is you have to be running it effectively, right? You got to get 130, 140 yards a game on the ground. So maybe they can dust off Earl Campbell's jersey and throw it onto one of their guys, and
I actually like one of their running backs. Well, I actually like both of their running backs. They bring in David Montgomery, who we love.
Right. Yeah.
And they also have a young guy named Woody Marks, who I think is a really good young running back. Ted, the other thing that's I think I told you that I did my thing with looking at 4 offensive stats and 4 defensive stats. And then I thought to myself, there are 2 more stats I need to look at: turnovers and penalty yards.
Yeah.
Texans last year with that defense were number 2 in turnover rate differential in the league.
Big shocker there.
If you're elite on one side of the ball, you just need to be average on the other side of the ball.
Well, you need a quarterback that, he can't play like Stroud did at the end of last year. No. It just can't be. It's got, what's his name? Davis Mills.
Yeah.
Is typically, he's just trying not to lose the game. And that might be all they need, is just somebody not to lose the game.
Exactly.
You got to run the ball and not lose the game with the quarterback throwing it all over the lot,
Particularly the guys on the other with the other jerseys on.
Right.
Ted, last year the Colts finished 3rd in the division, 8-9, but after 10 games they were 8-2 and had the best offense in the NFL. Daniel Jones had been considered a bust with the Giants, but before his injury last year, he was completing 68% of his passes, averaging almost 240 yards per game. Jonathan Taylor is one of the best 3 or 4 running backs in the league. I mean, you can slot him wherever you want to: Saquon, Bijan Robinson, Taylor, McCaffrey, something in that order. And then Gibbs goes somewhere in there. He's definitely a top 5 running back in the league. I love the young tight end they have from Penn State, Tyler Warren. Shane Steichen, as we talked about before with the Eagles, I think is an elite offensive play caller. Offense is not the issue with this team.
Oh, it's going to be this year.
Why?
Well, Jones is coming off an Achilles, right?
Yep.
And he's supposed to play?
Yep.
Right away?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I hope Jonathan Taylor's ready. He's gonna get the ball a lot. I think Shane Streichen's going to be looking at him like they looked at, as we mentioned, Earl Campbell in the 80s.
Get ready, big boy.
He's gonna get the ball a lot. He has to. I mean, I know Jones was good for 10 games before he got hurt. Though the games that they lost, he had reverted. Those were games where he played. He
had a few of his old New York Giants games. Yes, he did. And
he's going to lose. Almost certainly be. I mean, if he had a full-on Achilles rupture.
Yep.
I And he didn't have it early in the season. He had it 10 or 11 games. I mean, I I just don't understand how he's playing or how they think he's going to play right out of the gate. Cause like, uh, I mean, I don't know. Do they only take 8 months to heal or it's, it seems a little quick and I can't imagine his mobility will be improved.
Let's just do something really quickly
I
here.
mean, I think they still have Richardson on the roster, but I know they don't want to. I know they don't want to give him any opportunities, or don't seem to want to give him any opportunities.
Okay, Ted. According to Google AI, Indianapolis Colts Daniel Jones is fully healthy and participating in training camp.
Okay.
He suffered a torn right Achilles tendon on December 7th, 2025, during Week 14 against the Jaguars.
It's 8
He
months.
has been fully cleared and is on track for Week 1.
8 months. I don't know. I mean, that seems fast to me.
Yeah,
seems fast for a guy. Now your guy with the Celtics came back in probably
Jason
roughly
Tatum.
the same time, so maybe it'll work. I hope it does. I mean, I don't want him to have another injury. I just it seems a little quick, but
Ted, the Titans finished 3-14.
Yeah. Well, they finished.
And Ted, I can tell why they were 3-14. In the 4 primary offensive stats, they were 30th in each one: total yards, rushing, passing, and scoring, and only marginally better on defense. And then you add to that 24th in turnover differential and 21st in penalty yards. There wasn't anything that they did well on this team.
No.
Hence why Robert Saleh is now the head coach.
Yeah.
I like him. I think what he did in San Francisco last year's defensive coordinator tells you that he's still a very good coach. I think he will bring some toughness to that team. I love the addition of Brian Daboll as the offensive coordinator. We'll find out how much of his supposed genius with Josh Allen was Daboll's coaching and how much of it was just Josh Allen being a freak. And I hope it doesn't happen, but Robert Saleh's first head coaching gig was torpedoed by bad quarterback play with the Jets.
Yeah. Well, you just said Jets. That's all you had to say.
Yeah. You almost like you take that one off his coaching resume.
Yeah, you almost have to. Yeah.
But if Cam Ward does not become anything close to the number 1 pick, he's going to be in the same boat again.
Yep. The only good news is if they're, and I don't think he was bad last year. He was okay. I mean, look, he didn't have a lot of help, right?
No.
They didn't have a running game to lean on. He didn't.
They were 30th. They were 30th running the ball. Yes, they were.
He doesn't have elite receivers.
No.
So it's kind of hard to judge him on that solely, because if you judge guys on that, Troy Aikman would have been long gone, and Peyton Manning would have never played another down kind of thing.
So last year, Cam Ward started all 17 games, 60% completion percentage, 15-7 TD to interception ratio. Okay, I can take that as a first-year starter. He wasn't giving it away every time. And so, Ted, you mentioned receivers. They draft Carnell Tate, number 4 overall, a very good wide receiver. Obviously, wide receivers from Ohio State are doing pretty well these days, and so you feel like you can't go wrong.
No.
The only thing I would say, if I was going to be critical of that pick, is Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles were still on the board. I wonder if they could have traded back a couple and still gotten Tate. I just don't think he was the 4th best player in the draft, and I don't think they got anything close to the best player in the draft the year before when they took Ward. So for 2 seasons in a row, you have the number 1 pick and the number 4 pick, and I don't know that I'm not certain they got a superstar with either pick.
Yeah, but even if Tate is not the next Larry Fitzgerald or whatever, can he be a possession receiver?
At the minimum, I think he's that. But I just think when you're drafting that high, again, there were 3 or 4 guys in the draft last year at wide receiver that I think if they had traded down, even if someone had taken Tate ahead of them, I think there are a couple of other guys. Now, Ted, these guys know football better than I do. Tate might turn out to be Tate might turn out to be Jackson Smith-Njigba, another guy from Ohio State that was good in Ohio State. And Tate, I mean, we're comparing Tate last year to Jeremiah Smith, who I think is going to turn out to be the best football player in the last 2 or 3 years coming out of college. I think Jeremiah Smith is that good. So maybe Tate just was underwhelming just because you're comparing him to this.
Yeah, I mean,
great.
again, they're looking at different things too, and where do they think he fits within our scheme and all that other kind of stuff. But I can understand. Look, I think unless he's a no-brain, potential, you think he's going to the Hall of Fame kind of thing. Wide receivers that high up, when they had so many other things that they could have addressed.
That's my only point. I understand they need another one option, and I think they've got one. I just think they overspent for Ward, and I think they overspent for Tate. And when you have draft picks that high up, I don't like overspending when you have number 1 and number 4 overall picks.
Yeah, but they wanted Ward. They liked Ward. Well, at least the previous administration did. Those guys are gone. So
I get it. All right, let's go over the NFC, Ted, and let's talk about the Carolina Panthers, which eked out a division win and a playoff berth with an 8-9 record.
Really?
I think they can thank my Packers. They played horribly that day and lost to the Panthers 16-13. Otherwise, would have been the Falcons or the Bucks getting in. But anyway, Ted, I think this might be the least impressive playoff team ever. There have been other 8-9 teams getting in. I think the Bucks from that same division did it maybe a year or two before that.
Yeah,
but anyway,
Yeah.
Ted, here are their numbers. Offensively, here are the Panthers' numbers. 27th in total offense, 19th in rushing, 26th in passing, 27th in scoring. Defensively, 16th in total yards, 20th in rushing, 15th in passing and scoring. Average defensively, less than average offensively. They didn't have a good side of the ball. I think the one really positive from last year, their first round pick, a wide receiver, I think they took 9th or 10th. McMillan, the kid from Arizona, was the offensive rookie of the year, 70 catches, 1,014 yards and 7 TDs. He does give Bryce Young a legitimate number 1 receiver. So that's good. I like their draft picks. Monroe Freeling is a very athletic offensive tackle from Georgia with huge upside. Lee Hunter is a good, solid defensive tackle from Texas Tech. Chris Brazil is a capable wide receiver from Tennessee. In free agent additions, they add Devin Lloyd from the Jags. Love that guy. I love guys that play all 3 downs on defense. They bring in Jalen Phillips, the edge from the Eagles, who the Eagles have gotten from the Dolphins. Then they bring in a few depth pieces offensively. John Mechie, former from Alabama, and my guy, A.J. Dillon, Quadzilla, at running back. I think the young coach, Canales, looks like he's a good young head coach.
Right.
Comes down to one thing.
Quarterbacks.
They took Bryce Young, number 1 overall. Yeah. He was better last year.
Yeah.
63.6% completion ratio, 23-11 TD interception. But Ted, they eked into the playoffs. They get the first place schedule this year. I don't see
an improvement over 8-9.
No.
Chances are, to me, they're better. Sounds like they're better, right? Some of the guys they've added, if Devin Lloyd doesn't have too many miles on him and a couple other guys, they're better, but they're going to have a schedule that's much more difficult than what they played last year. And you're right, for them to get to 8-9 or 10-7 with that schedule, Bryce Young's going to have to be what they thought he was going to be when they drafted him. Correct. And he hasn't been that yet.
Correct. CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are both getting close to giving their franchises incredibly difficult decisions, which is, do you sign them to the big contract?
Right. That's exactly right.
And like we talked about, Baker Mayfield is the one quarterback that actually signed a contract in that mid-tier number range. These days, if you sign one of these guys, they automatically get over 50. Like, no, why is that an automatic thing?
Yeah, Baker Mayfield and my guy out in Seattle.
Yes,
yeah,
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Sam Darnold. Yeah,
and isn't it interesting how this? We're going to talk about the Seahawks, how good of a team they have. Anyway, yeah, I think one of two things has to happen. Either if you're going to have average quarterback play, which Bryce Young is average at best, then you better have a top 5 running game to make up for it.
And that hasn't shown up yet.
And I don't think. I mean, I
and
like
their
Chuba.
and their defense is not Houston's defense.
No.
So,
all right, Ted. So the Bucs, in the last 2 seasons, Ted, they lost as their offensive coordinators, Dave Canales to the Panthers and Liam Cohen to the Jaguars in head coaching positions. And last year they came back to 8-9 and finished out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Ted, I want to give you the numbers from 24 when the Bucs won the division 10-7 of Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
Here is 2024 seasons with Liam Cohen as the offensive coordinator. Completed 71.4% of his passes, 41 to 16 TD to interception ratio, almost 265 yards a game, 106.8 passer rating.
That's pretty good.
I think I said to you after that season that if you had told me who do I want for $50 million, Baker or my guy Jordan Love, I'd take Baker.
Right.
Okay. Now, without Liam Cohen last year, here are Baker's numbers. You ready?
Yep.
He goes from 71% completion percentage down to 63.2. His TD interception ratio goes from 41 to 16 to down to 26 to 11. Yards goes from almost 265 to 217, and his rating goes from 106.8 to 90.6.
Well, he was hurt for some of it anyway. I think didn't he play through a particularly difficult, somewhat difficult injury? Didn't he hurt his non-throwing shoulder again?
Well, that was a couple of years ago in Cleveland. I can't remember.
No, I thought he had a similar type injury last year, rib cage or something that he tried to play. He did play through for the most part, which could have account for some of this. Certainly, Cohen's absence you would think would have counted for some of it as well. And I thought they had didn't they have a couple games where they were all the wide receivers had just come in off the couch kind of thing? No, I mean, seriously, where they didn't have guys anybody that had been on their like opening day roster or taxi squad, everybody else was hurt, kind of thing.
Well, their number one option, the very, very, very good receiver, Mike Evans, only played like a couple games. He was limited 8 games last year, Ted, and he's gone off to San Francisco.
Right.
Ted, Mike Evans played 11 seasons with Tampa Bay. Last year, he's limited to 8 games, did not. But in every other season before that, he had over 1,000 receiving yards and averaged about 10 touchdowns per season. That's going to be hard to replace.
Yeah, it's a big shoe to fill. Yep.
Now, I really like their draft picks. Mr. Short Arms, Ruben Bain, falls to them in the first round at 15. In the third round, they get a wide receiver named Ted Hurst, who I think has some potential to be a really good speed receiver. And then in the fourth round, they get this cornerback from Keontae Scott from Miami. He's a little undersized, but when I watch them in the playoffs, guy just made one play after another.
Right.
I think he's just like as Hasselbeck says, he's just a good old 11-on-11 football player. So they lose Mike Evans. Levante David retires. I don't know.
Did they ever get their contract squared away with the defensive tackle?
Big Vita Vea. Let's look that up. I forgot to look at that.
He was sitting out or whatever.
He was doing the hold-in situation.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and Mayfield's unhappy with his deal.
Yes.
Let's
see. Vita Vea is in the final year of his 4-year, $71 million contract. Yeah. So I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think he's signed anything new, any type of extension. Mayfield's in his last year, right? And they both want to be extended. And I would, and there's a lot of people who say that, Baker could make this uncomfortable for Tampa because, he's kind of outspoken and wants to, whatever. And I would just tell Baker Mayfield and his agent, and the same with Vita Vea, they just let their, I don't know, franchise leading receiver of all time walk away for nothing. They've never paid it. The year they won the Super Bowl with Tommy, they paid Tommy. They didn't pay anybody else, right? They were all rookies or guys at the end of their deals and kind of thing. This is a team that is not going to suit up. And what did you just say? They went through the draft. They're going to try and they're going to let these guys walk away. They're not going to pay them. Or at least history indicates they're not going to pay them. That they have okay, we're going to pay this much for these positions. And when they get to a certain age, they're out the door. That's what I think is going to happen. That's, I could be wrong. Baker could get a contract tomorrow, but I don't believe it. I don't believe the people that run Tampa are going to sign him for 3 more years or 4 more years at his age, with his size and injury past, to 4 years and $200 million. I don't see that coming. I mean, maybe Baker, if they won the Super Bowl, maybe.
Baker's going to be 31 this year.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, but he's an old 31, right?
Yes,
he's been hit a lot.
He's not a big guy, and he does he plays a certain way. Yeah, I get it. Let's see how old Vita Vea is. He's been around a while also.
Yeah, he was there when Tommy was there.
Yeah, Vita Vea is he'll be 32 soon. So
yeah. I don't believe they're going to pay him. No, I don't believe so.
As I was looking up the Vita Vea situation, he's making about $17 million. Good money.
Yeah.
But he's looking at Quinnen Williams and Jeffrey Simmons from the Titans, both getting over 30.
He can look all he wants. He's going to have to go someplace else, I think, to get it. I just don't think he's going to be able to stay in Tampa and get it.
No, and timing is everything. He's just aged out at a time where he's not. I don't think anybody's going to give him $30 million. They might you might give him $30 million for 1 year,
but it's not going to be guaranteed.
Right.
Yeah.
So if there's a really good team with a let's say the Raiders have a great season this year.
Right.
And next year they want to add a piece and try and make a run while they've got Mendoza on his rookie contract.
Right.
Okay, then I'll give Vita Vea a $30 million contract.
Right. Maybe. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I'm not going to. To your point, I'm not going to give him the 4 or 5 years that Simmons and Quinnen Williams just got.
No, I mean a team like the Rams they're not giving him that kind. They can't. But even if they could, they wouldn't be giving it to him.
No, the only place you're going to get you're going to get that deal is, like I say, someplace with a quarterback on a rookie contract. Right. Ted, the Falcons, 3 teams finished 8-9 last year. I don't know what crazy system they used to figure that out, but anyway, the Falcons also finished 8-9. And while they did not have an area of great deficiency, they also didn't have an area of particular strength either. They were average in almost every offensive and defensive category except for one. 8th in best rushing yards, largely due to Bijan Robinson.
Right. Yeah.
Ted, this guy's truly a great player. Ted, last year, Robinson had 1,478 rush yards and 820 receiving yards.
Yeah, he's getting used a lot on his rookie contract.
And they just gave him a big old contract.
Good for them. Yep.
Now, they also have Drake London and Kyle Pitts. I like the hiring of Kevin Stefanski as a head coach. But Ted, quarterback.
Well, I will say this. At least they have the same guy as two guys as the same guy. 2 left-handed guys that aren't super mobile and get banged up a lot.
And are accuracy throwers.
Yeah. So they're not going to have to change the offense. This isn't like when Baltimore had Joe Flacco be replaced by Lamar Jackson. This is not that. They can run the same offense with either one of them.
I never understood why before last year, the Ravens signed Cooper Rush as a backup quarterback to Lamar.
Didn't make any sense. Made no sense. Yeah. I mean, there are times when teams do that. Is they pick a guy who's the exact opposite. This isn't a guy coming out of the bullpen facing lefty matchup.
Yeah. Ted, the other thing that concerns me, I'm now speaking to my son-in-law, Andrew, who's a huge Falcons fan. If I'm a Falcons fan, in last year's draft, They used their own pick and traded back into the first round and took edge rushers in both picks.
Yeah.
Jalen Walker, who they picked, I think like 13 or 14, something in that range from Georgia, he's been lost to the season with a torn knee ligament.
Okay.
Their other guy, James Pierce, who was actually the better of the two players last year, is suspended for the first 8 games of the season for behavior issues off the field.
Nice. Well, the injury, you can't, there's nothing you can do about it.
No. But my understanding is that some teams didn't even have James Pierce on their draft boards because he had a history of off the field issues.
Who was the guy that he played and he ended up with the Cowboys and he had a lot of behavioral issues, and I think he went into pro wrestling. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, if he's having these problems in college and high school, and now you give him money and time, probably not the best mix. It's probably not going to work out for the best in the short term. Maybe in the long term he'll figure it out, but in the short term,
Kevin Stefanski got to the playoffs twice in Cleveland, so I think he's a good head coach.
Yeah, I think so.
Bijan Robinson might be the best running back in pro football.
Might be. Yeah. It's on the short list, right?
Yeah, the division is there to be won. There's not a great team in this division. All those things are true, but there's too much bad mojo around this team.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think Stefanski can, if one of the two quarterbacks separates themselves enough.
And by the way, Penix hasn't even started 11-on-11 yet, so Tua's starting the season.
Okay. What's Penix? Is he hurt?
He tore. Oh,
that's right. He got hurt at the end of last year.
He tore knee ligaments in college, and he did it again last year. So I don't know what he's. I don't know what he's got left in his knees. He's like he must be He must be Steve Austin, the $6 million man with.
They're going to come up with Michael Penix surgery like they did Tommy John surgery to. But I forgot. You're right. I forgot he had injured himself at the end of he had got himself injured at the end of last year. So Tua starting. The plus about Tua starting is Stefanski has a guy who's played a lot. You know, he's played starter for 4 years or 3.5 years, been to the playoffs a couple times. If you can keep him upright,
put one of those big old Guardian helmets on him, Ted. Put 2 of them on there.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can keep him healthy and on the field, he's an improvement over Cousins, who was. Because Cousins just didn't play well because I think he's on his last leg, right? I think, and Penix, who wasn't experienced enough yet. I think he's an improvement over that. You got a guy who's a good offensive coordinator, and it seems head coach who I think he's smart enough to realize that the money on this team is Robinson. You know, let's use him as much as we can, set up play action, and maybe. Again, if we can improve the defense just enough in this division, because they're probably going to play second or third place. They're not going to play the first place schedule.
Third round. I think they play the third place schedule.
Yeah, in that division.
Ted, I want to throw something at you. I think
it's been said many times.
I think the best team in this division might have finished in 4th place last year. The Saints finished 6-11.
Yeah.
They might have found the quarterback in 2nd round pick Tyler Shuck. They were 5-4 in the 9 games he started last year. Now, Ted, those wins were against the Bucs, Panthers, Jets, and Titans. 4 of those wins were against those, So they weren't beating the Lombardi Packers.
No, they weren't.
But they were 5-4.
Yeah, right.
They drafted Jordan Tyson, an incredibly skilled but often injured wide receiver from college. If he's good, he's going to be a really nice additional weapon to Chris Olave, who they signed to a big contract from Ohio State. I really like their 3rd round draft pick, a kid named Oscar Delp, with tight end from Georgia. Whenever I watched Georgia play last year, he was always making a big play on getting a first down. He was one of those guys.
Yeah, right.
They bring over Travis Etienne from the Jaguars. Kamara's still playing. They got plenty of weapons.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore, I think, is proved to be a good play caller both in Dallas and Philly.
Yep.
in this division with a fourth place schedule and no one else seemingly jumping to the front.
It's not inconceivable, right? If the quarterback plays, like we talked about, if he's just good enough,
Right.
because they can spend, again, Kellen Moore's a smart guy. He calls good games. I'm sure he's going to say, well, we're pounding the ball with ATN and Kamara as much as we can, and play action, keep the game in front of us, kind of thing. Yeah. With a last place schedule in a bad division, maybe. Yeah, why not?
Okay, I'm going to have to think about it, but there is one thing I would like to see the Saints improve on, and this, do you agree that things like turnovers and penalties are coaching indications, how well a team is coached?
Penalties are.
You don't think turnovers are?
Well, I mean, there are turnovers and then there are turnovers. I mean, like the guy throwing an interception at the end of the half or the game where he's just throwing it into the end zone counts as a turnover, but
it's not going to make a difference in the game.
It doesn't make a difference. Or even the turnover when it's, 3rd and 15 and you go for it all.
You throw a long pass.
You throw a long pass and
it's double coverage. Yeah.
And it's double covered.
It's the same thing as a punt.
It's a punt, right? You're just hoping for a penalty or a miracle, right? The kind of turnovers that are the soul crushing interceptions are the ones where, the guy's open and he throws it over his head or he throws it short.
It's 2nd and 3, the guy's open and you airmail.
Or you make the wrong read and you throw it to the cornerback who's coming forward and he catches it and there's nobody in front of him and he just walks into the end zone. And running backs, I don't know, how much can you coach them not fumbling on contact? I mean, everybody, when you see a guy running with the ball now and he gets tackled and he's stopped as he's going down, almost inevitably there's a punching it out, trying to pull it out. So there are probably some drills and things that they can do, or sometimes you just have to say to the guy, listen, I'd rather keep the ball, I'd rather keep the ball than you try and fight for 2 extra yards in the first quarter,
Yeah.
So
last year, Ted, they were 24th in turnover differential and 21st in penalty yards. You clean up those details.
Yeah.
Shuck continues to improve. You're playing a last place schedule in a very winnable division.
Yeah, I mean, if you think Tampa and Carolina are going to come back, and I think they probably are going to.
Let's put it this way. I don't see a quarterback that is definitively better than Shuck. Baker's the only one that I'd say is definitively better than Shuck.
Oh, I think you have to give Tua a little credit because he's played a lot. Hopefully he's, I think
if divisions are generally won by the best quarterback in the division, there's no quarterback in this division that's so head and shoulders above everybody else. I just think they could be every year in the NFL. There's a surprise team.
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah, it could be them. Yeah, in the circumstances that they're in, and if the quarterback plays well enough. Yeah.
All right, Ted, let's go ahead and wrap it up there for the week. Thank you to our fans again for listening. Please continue to follow us here on millions.co for these live events. Also, please check us out on all of our social media platforms. We have a YouTube channel. We're also on Instagram, X, and Facebook. And you can also email us at grumpybrothersports@gmail.com. And with that, we'll say goodnight, and we promise to do better next time.